So, I originally wasn't going to make another serious video after my last one, especially after I've been on such a hiatus for the last one, but I'm sorry, I just have to. What I'm about to talk about is stuff that's very serious, and for those of you who might ask, well, why are you in fursuit if you're going to talk about something serious? Well, you clicked on the video, didn't you? Just saying. Might not have clicked on it if I wasn't in a fursuit. Something that I feel like needs to be talked about, something that I want to bring attention to. As small a platform as I have, I feel like I should use it responsibly. So, a lot has happened since my COVID video. You know, protests erupted all over, I mean, not even just the United States, but the world. The death toll for COVID is now, in America, is now at around 180,000 last I saw. And just, it seems like the entire country that I live in is burning down, and it just kind of amazes me that so many people can just kind of afford not to care, essentially, is what I'm getting at. What I mean by that is, you know, I spend some time on Twitter. I'm not on there like every minute of every day, but I spend enough time on Twitter to where, you know, I do see people in the fandom, you know, posting stuff, standing in solidarity with, you know, Black Lives Matter, or talking about COVID or something, but or talking about COVID, but there's so many that, like, they do it, you know, they tweet out a hashtag, and then that's all they have to say on the matter. They don't talk about it ever again. It's just, oh, well, it's trending, so I guess I'll post about this. And it's not a trend, okay? What's going on outside my door, outside this house that I'm not going to be living in much longer, I'm moving. But what's going on out there, what's going on all around the country is not a trend. You know, it doesn't live in a vacuum. It affects real people. And some of those people, a lot of those people, are in the furry fandom. You know, I still to this day see so many people whine about, you know, oh, the furry fandom is getting too political. I'm leaving because, oh, they're so intolerant or whatever. And I'm like, and they mean a certain thing when they say political. You know, whenever they say political, they mean, oh, they're talking about too much left-wing stuff. They're talking about Black Lives Matter. They're talking about, you know, trans rights or whatever. And, oh, that makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I just want to be a fuzzy animal. Yeah, well, sometimes you have to be a little uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to be a little uncomfortable, and you got to deal with it like an adult. You can't just keep running away from it. You can't just keep using the fandom as a means of escapism, and that's like all you use it as. It's funny that I say that I talk about escapism, because I'm actually working on a video, a bigger video about, or related to that topic. But, you know, I just got so frustrated that I decided to kind of consider this maybe a sneak peek. So, what made me make this video? Well, for those of you who don't know, there were protests in Wisconsin happening because another unarmed black man was shot by police this time in the back. He's alive, thankfully, somehow. It's kind of a miracle, but thankfully he's still alive. And, you know, of course, you know, the protest, I mean, I say protests erupt across the country, but they never really stopped. It's just, they just keep growing because this keeps happening, you know? Like, this just keeps happening. And last night, in Wisconsin, a white supremacist with an AR-15 came into the middle of a protest and shot 3 people, killing 2 of them. One of them is currently injured, and I believe, as far as I know, they are still alive. This was all on video, too. I'm not going to show the video. If you're sensitive to that sort of thing, please, like, use caution when looking for it, because, like, it shows everything. And I still see, you know, people just, you know, not even just, you know, not paying attention to this, not even bringing awareness to this or anything, but, you know, still doing the both sides thing. You know, people are still talking about looting. People are still talking about, oh, but the rioting, the looting. Yeah, well, people, you know what? People wouldn't be rioting and looting if this kind of stuff wasn't happening. Like, if this kind of stuff wasn't happening, people wouldn't be rioting and looting. People are rioting and looting for a reason. Instead of just focusing on, you know, oh, they're rioting and looting. Yeah, congratulations. You pointed out people are in fact rioting and looting. How about you ask the question, why are they rioting and looting? You know, I can't remember if I mentioned this in a previous video, but I used to work at a behavioral rehab center for teenagers with aggression issues, and we somehow received better training there than the police. But one of the main, like, philosophies that the supervisors in training kind of really hammered into our heads, made sure that we kind of understood, is, you know, whenever you're dealing with these teenagers, focus less on the question of what's wrong with you, and focus more on the question, why did you do that? Like, you know, like, focus less on, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? Like, I can't believe you did that. And focus more on, okay, how come you felt the need to do that? You know, because the kids in there, they weren't terrible kids. You know, like, they weren't terrible kids. They were that way because of trauma. They were that way because of various trauma in their lives. And a lot of the behavior that they did was a result of the trauma. It was essentially defense mechanisms. And this is, like, the question I'm amazed people just still keep avoiding asking. You know, again, they keep focusing on rioting and looting, rioting and looting. Oh my gosh, people are rioting and looting. Okay, do you know why they're rioting and looting, though? Do you know why? Like, have you been listening? Because that's the thing. You know, I saw a tweet a few hours ago. I'll try and post a screenshot of it somewhere here if I can find it and edit it in. But it essentially said, like, the first thing to being empathetic is to listen. And that is very true. You know, that's the thing that people just don't seem to know how to do. They don't listen. You know, I remember a few, like, last month, people were writing tweets essentially saying that, like, oh my gosh, people in the fandom are too angry. Certain people in the fandom are too angry. Oh my gosh, like, why are people so angry? People are just so angry all the time. And at the time, the people who were angry and who kind of took offense to those kinds of tweets were, you know, people of color in the fandom, you know. People of color in the fandom who have essentially been airing their grievances about how not just, you know, they're treated in just everyday society, but how some of that way that they're treated in society can leak over into the fandom, which, you know, the fandom is supposed to be just as much an escapism for them as it is for you. I just, like, when I saw tweets like that, I'm just like, and people like still reacted pretty much the same way to like some of the people that responded to the tweets. You know, people responded with anger to those tweets, and people were like, "Oh my God, you see, you're so angry, you're so hostile, and everything." And it's like, yeah, well, maybe it's because you're not fucking listening. Okay, like, I'm just gonna be blunt there. Yeah, maybe they're angry because they've been saying this, they've been saying the same thing, they've been pointing out this damn issue, whether it's, you know, racism, transphobia, pedophiles in the fandom, predators, just predators in general that are, you know, just sex pests, and people just aren't listening. Like, it's like they're just yelling at a wall and nothing is changing, and they're tired. They're tired of, you know, pointing this stuff out and just feeling like nobody's listening. You know, and I see people that, like, you know, say that, oh my God, like, you're so hostile now because, you know, in retrospect to my COVID video, you know, I was nice as in retrospect in my COVID video. You know, I know I called Enter, you know, dumb and stupid a few times in the video, but in retrospect to how I feel about people like him now, I was nice. I was kind, because I'm done being nice. Okay, like when it comes, I know I'm going off on tangents and everything, but this is me, like, just doing a complete impromptu video on just like what I'm just so tired of, and I'm so tired of the apathy that some privileged people in the fandom can just engage in. And you know, I still see like some people that are like posting misinformation about coronavirus and everything, or people saying that the death toll's not that bad or whatever. And you know, I have friends who are friends with people who are like who are on the side of like conservatives, and they listen to like extremist conservatives and everything. Like, they're not even just like, oh, they're conservative, but they're moderate conservatives. They're not gonna, they don't like Trump or whatever. It's like, no, they're still Trump voters. And I remember I was talking to a friend a few days ago, and I sort of snapped at him, but it was like, it was kind of a long time coming, but essentially it was about the whole election coming up in America, coming up in November. You know, we got two choices, you know, even though we technically don't. There's more than two people on the ballot, but there's only two possible choices that have like a actual chance at winning. And he essentially said that like he just didn't think that he was going to vote in the election. He just wasn't going to vote, or wasn't going to take a side because he hates both candidates. And I also want to get, you know, one thing clear. You know, I am not a fan of Biden. You know, I'm not a fan of Biden. This isn't me saying, oh, Biden's the answer to all our problems. Voting for him is going to fix everything. No, it's not. But oh my God, like, to say that, to actually have the freaking privilege, like I said, for lack of a better term, it's privilege, to have the privilege of having that mindset of, oh, well, you know, I guess I don't like the choices, so I'm just not going to participate. At this point, after, you know, the president has, after, again, you know, 180,000 Americans have died from COVID and counting. That number is still going up. by the day, by the hour, it is going up. After he threatened to send the National Guard on the protesters, after a bunch of federal agents in unmarked vans were kidnapping people, and everything, to have that mindset, to still, after all of that happens, to still have that mindset of, that centrist mindset of, well, I just don't like either options. Like, I'm just so frustrated. I'm so frustrated. And you know, I don't care if me being dressed like this makes you take me less seriously. I really don't care. That doesn't invalidate what I'm saying. You know, someone tried to make that argument in the comments section of my COVID video that, oh, like, I can't take you seriously when you're dressed like that. It's like, oh, well, that doesn't make what I'm saying any less valid. That doesn't make what I'm saying any less grounded in scientific fact, just because you don't like what I'm wearing. But, like, again, and you know, the thing that happened recently, that, you know, that wasn't an isolated incident. There was also that one death of a protester, like, I think it was last month in Dallas, where some guy tried to drive his car into a crowd of protesters, and then shot and killed one of the protesters, because for understandable reasons, you know, a car was coming at a crowd of people. The protester raised a gun that he was openly carrying to try and stop the driver, and unfortunately he lost his life. The driver also had a gun, and they shot him. And the reason I bring that up is because, and this is not me making anything up, this has been verified already. This has been, like, they have found his account and everything. This dude was a furry. I'm not kidding. This dude who did this, who tried to run over a bunch of protesters, and also, and he was released. You know, he was initially arrested, but he was cleared of charges. He's not facing any charges for this. Despite eyewitness testimonies disputing his side of the story and everything. But yeah, the dude was a furry. You know, these kinds of people are still in the fandom. You know, like, the whole, like, Nazi furries thing and everything. Those people never went, not all of those people ever went away. You know, I mean, Foxler is technically still, you know, around. But yeah, these people, they never ever went away. These people, these alt-right just chuds, these alt-right terrorists, you know, I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna call them terrorists, because after what happened today, they are terrorists. The dude who did this, the dude recently who shot, who I said shot 3 people and killed 2, he was part of that stupid boogaloo white supremacist movement and everything. And I'm bringing that up because, again, you know, I saw someone a few months ago who a friend of mine is friends with, because he'll be friends with anyone, I guess. But this guy posted something in defense of the Boogaloo movement, which Boogaloo groups on sites like Facebook have gone on record saying that they are trying to start a race war. Like, this is not people putting words in their mouths. They have posted stuff like this. They are a white supremacist domestic terrorist group. And the dude, and again, you know, this guy was a furry and everything. The dude tried to claim that, oh, the Boogaloo boys, they're not a racist white supremacist movement. They're not looking to start a race war. They're just trying to, they're just a bunch of libertarians, and they're just, they don't like the anarchy going on in stuff like and places like Portland and everything. And they're tired of the rioting and looting, and they want to stop it. And everything. Yeah, again, this guy was making excuses for these people, and at this point, you know, like, after after this thing that happened, you know, like this dude who murdered these at least 2 people now and shot 3. After all this, you know, like anyone I see, absolutely anyone that I see, whether it's in the fandom or outside of the fandom, that still makes apologist tweets for these types of people, they're terrorist sympathizers. I'm just going to say it. They're terrorist sympathizers. And I just, again, you know, people, like, it amazes me how tone deaf some YouTube furries can be when they make tweets like, oh my gosh, why is everyone in the fandom so angry? Why is everyone in the fandom so angry? I don't get it. It's like, yeah, well, maybe it's because people like this are still here. Maybe it's because people like this are still here. Some of these people are still given a platform despite their shitty views. They might not spout those shitty views on their platform like YouTube or anything, but they still have them. Like, they still spout them elsewhere. They're still a shitty person. I don't care if they're not a shitty person in their content. They're still a shitty person. And, you know, people are just fed up. People are tired of the same people being brought up again and again as, you know, again, whether it's racists, transphobes, homophobes, predators, and everything. You know, these people, a lot of these same people keep getting brought up again and again, like every month, and they're still here. And like, that's the thing. Like, I don't expect that, like, oh, like, you know, like they need to be like kicked out of the fandom, because you technically can't, quote unquote, kick people out of the fandom. You know, the furry fandom doesn't have like a leadership or a hierarchy or anything. It's just an online fandom. It's just a group. There's no real organization outside of conventions and everything. But that's the thing. There is some level of organization. You know, there's websites, there's conventions and everything. And a lot of these types of people are still allowed to attend those. A lot of these types of people are still using the websites in question. They're not being kicked off the platform or anything. These people are still, you know, like being allowed to go to cons, including, again, predators being allowed to go to cons where children are in attendance. And people are tired of these things just constantly being brought up and nothing changing. Like, nothing is changing. And, you know, like, we still see tweets from people pining for the good old days of the fandom. I miss how the fandom used to be, and everything. And, you know, which is funny because they never actually say at what point the fandom was good. You know, kind of like how, you know, Americans can't identify when at what point America was great, that they want to make it great again and everything. You know, I still see people saying that, you know, pining for the old days of the fandom and everything before cancel culture and everything. And I still see people whining about cancel culture. Like, oh my God. Like, and again, like, that's what makes me so mad. That's what makes me so mad. I see more tweets from furries, specifically, you know, bigger name YouTube furries and poppy furs. I know people hate that term or whatever, but YouTube furries and poppy furs. And I want to emphasize, if you're a YouTuber, if you're a furry YouTuber right now, and you don't do this, you have no reason to get mad at me saying this. You have no reason to get mad at me criticizing those who do it. So if you get mad at this, that's just more about you. But I am so tired of like seeing more people in the fandom, especially people at the top, decrying cancel culture when stuff like this that I mentioned earlier is happening. You know, like when people are dying. People are airing grievances. People are airing grievances about abuse that they've suffered. And everything, and more people come, you know, and usually end up coming forward or whatever. And oh, but what if those allegations are fake? Yeah, well, that usually comes to light pretty quickly afterwards. Typically, the faked stories don't have like 12 other stories come out afterwards to back them up. Typically they're one person making up something, and then that's it. No other similar stories come out from other people. It's just clearly made up, which is not the majority. That's the thing. People act like that's the majority, and like cancel culture. Oh no, cancel culture. People are getting canceled for things that they do. And I kind of want, whenever people point that out, I'm like, I want them to point me to an actual person who was like actually canceled. Not only actually canceled, but like actually unjustly canceled. Like they, and I do mean like actually canceled, not just, oh, they had a hate mob get mad at something that they said or did in the past. Or, oh, they left Twitter and everything, but they're still making YouTube stuff and everything. I mean someone like Hero the Wolf. Like, Hero the Wolf was canceled, not unjustly. And let's hope he keeps staying gone. We don't want him. Whenever I ask that, people usually can't. Like, they always go back to the same types of people. It's just, oh, well, like this person who ended up leaving Twitter because they were called out for something that they did in the past or whatever. And it's like, again, you know, like with actual legitimate issues being brought up, you know, predators, racists, whatever, actually being brought up, like this fandom has a lot of other lot of bigger problems besides cancel culture. And that's what annoys me specifically about YouTube furries, because like I said, this is where I see it the majority of the time being complained about. It's YouTube furries. I don't mean every YouTube furry. I wanna get that clear. Not every YouTube furry, but a lot of YouTube furries. It's a majority of the times that I see this, it's usually a YouTube furry doing this, complaining about cancel culture. And if they do ever tweet anything about an actual like systemic issue, whether it's in the fandom or in real life, it's usually with some sort of trending hashtag. They just tweet something like, oh yeah, we stand in solidarity with this movement or whatever, and then there's just never any other tweet about it again. It's just performative. It's just more performative crap with no substance to it. So yeah, so they won't focus on that, but they'll focus on cancel culture. That's what annoys me. Like the whole Black Lives Matter thing. So far, I have seen 2 YouTube furries make videos, serious videos, at least one serious video about the Black Lives Matter movement. One was BoltMutt, and the other was, I always forget how to say this person's name. I believe their name is Vixen Dog or something like that. I'll put both of their names on the screen, everything. But those are the only 2, at least those are the only 2 that I'm subscribed to right now, and those are the only 2 with like a relatively big subscriber base that have made serious videos about these. And and the thing is, you know, I get like some YouTube furries say, yeah, but my type of content isn't, you know, inherently political. I'm not a political commentator. I'm not someone who's like an expert in this sort of thing, or whatever. I don't typically, you know, like talk about political content. My content's more for kids and everything, as if there can't be political stuff for kids. Like, you know, they're gonna hear about an issue from someone. It might as well be someone that they look up to. But I just hear these like constant excuses. It's like you can't, you can't just sacrifice one day to make a video on something that's like that's outside of the norm of what you typically make, because, like, you know, like at this point, you know, I'm just starting out, you know, I'm still just starting out. And as of now, you know, I've made 2 videos that have deviated from what the direction I've taken my channel. This one and the COVID one. And the COVID one was so long. I put so much effort in that. And again, you know, like, that's not the sort of content that I'm going to be uploading to this channel. But I still wanted to do it because it's something really serious. It's something serious that needs to be addressed. It's something really serious that needs to be talked about. And if you have a big platform, the least you can do is use it responsibly. Use it responsibly. Use it to do some good. Use it to, I don't know, bring attention to some lesser known content creators or whatever in the fandom. You know, instead of collabing with the same, like, 5 big YouTube furries or whatever. Use it to talk about an issue. Use it to, like, point people towards charities and everything that they can donate to help out a cause. You know, something like, you can afford to be serious. Like, if me, some dude in a freaking, again, you know, like a freaking animal costume, if I can afford to make a serious video every now and then, you don't have an excuse. But I think we're probably going to end it there, guys. I'm sorry if this rant was a bit incoherent. Like I said, this wasn't like my COVID video. I wasn't reading from a script or anything. This is just me going off the cuff and everything. But it was something I felt like I needed to get out. It was some frustration I felt like I needed to get out. And as small a platform as I have, I just wanted to talk about it. And I'm going to link some charities related to some of the causes, especially like the Black Lives Matter stuff, that you can donate to. And I encourage you to, like, at least click the links, at least visit the links if you don't end up donating them, and share them. But yeah, like, you know, I might not have a big platform, but I want to use it to do some good outside of just providing mindless entertainment for people. Hopefully the next video won't be like this, or the COVID video. The one that I'm working on next is a little more organized and about, like, an actual horror related thing. And hopefully I actually end up getting that one out next. So until then, always werewolf responsibly, and I'll see you guys next time, whenever that is.